what up, YouTube? Shit, the internet been on fire for the last 24 hours. My question is this. Every man has a breaking point at some point. Every man has a breaking point at some point. It's the last few years, all this news coming out, with Jada coming out saying this and saying that. Shit, I was feeling bad for Will. Whether you think he's a simp or whatever you want to call him, a punk or whatever. It's unfortunate for him that he, in my personal opinion, chose the wrong woman to fall in love with. But at that point, it is what it is. But see, we have a tendency, as men, we have a tendency to ignore things that's bothering us. Even things that's really, really bothering us, really disturbing us, we ignore it. And we hold it in. And we convince ourselves, oh, it's not that bad. It's not that bad at all. Then we let it go, we overlook it. Then it builds up. Day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year. At some point, one of two things gonna happen. For men, unfortunately, there's a high likelihood of both of these things happening at different times. It all depends. The long-term problem is when you're holding in all that aggravation and stress. Your body starts to turn on itself. That's where a lot of these ailments and diseases come from. I'm pretty sure you can link a lot of cancer to stress. Undue stress. Not just the average daily stress, because as a man, we used to a lot of stuff over the years. Not saying that that's good, because that can contribute to it too. But when your domestic life, your home life, when your wife is stepping out on you, when your wife is saying certain things, alluding to she doesn't know how to love and she's conflicted and getting in entanglements and all this stuff, and imagine that in like everyday life and you dealing with this. And let's just say, you know, in your neighborhood, your neighbors know what's going on. That by itself is going to create an undue amount of stress on you. And then you trying to hold it in, you're trying to maintain, you're trying to keep your family together, and you know, you have your children acting out as, you know, at different times, in different ways and stuff, and now you got that stress on you. So that's just locally, in your local sector, your local city. You know, your neighbors know, and you walk down the street and you see your neighbor, and you know they thinking and whispering. Like, as soon as you walk by, you speak and you chop it up a little bit, blah, 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 this and that. And you can see it in their eyes. They know. Then you get done with the small talk. You say, hey, see you later. And you walk away, and you know they're talking about you. Your situation behind your back, saying what you should and shouldn't do, and did you hear about this and that? And you can say you don't care, but you do. You do, because you care on, let me take that back. overall you might not care because you're a man. Because you're a man, you like, fuck it. People gonna talk about you. They're gonna say what they're gonna say. They're gonna not like you, whatever, this and that. But on the flip side, you care on the level of the irritation, just being aggravated and irritated by the thought. Now keep in mind, I'm just talking about on a local level, your local town, suburb, city, your neighbors and your friends know. Now imagine being Will Smith, an international superstar, movie star, TV star, rapper at one time. And your business is put out in front of the whole world, especially now in the era of social media. That whole entanglement thing, there was memes and jokes for months about that. Don't think for 1 second Will Smith didn't see all those memes and all those jokes, while at the same time battling to keep his family together. Now you can call him a simp and this and that, or he shouldn't have got married, this and that. That's, that portion is none of your business, whether or not a man wants to get married or not. That's a choice that he made. But all the holding it in, and when he was on the red carpet, and I only saw portions of it, but I saw the clip where he said, "Oh yeah, I was done with your ass at that time." And at that time, he might have, in the front of his mind, maybe he was, but in the back of his mind, he wasn't, because he wanted to keep his family together more than anything in the world. But he probably felt at that time, this is what he had to do. This is what he needed to do. So he said that. But that's not what he desired. And then months after that, you hear these little snippets and these little comments that Jada would make, and it was just the whole time she's emasculating this man in front of the whole world. And he's just holding it in, taking it in stride, holding it in. Now they probably have gone to marriage counseling and talked to counselors and stuff about it, try to sort out the differences. And usually you go as a couple, you talk, a few times, and you talk together. And then the therapist, the counselor, starts to make individual appointments, one-on-one with both of you. You'll go one day, just you and the counselor. She'll go one day. Then you'll come together again and talk about what you've learned and about those individual conversations and thoughts and stuff. I'm sure they've done that, went through that. But during that time, everybody's cracking jokes and putting out memes, and he's just holding it in, this and that. And ironically, when you come across somebody who's not gonna hold it in, like Kanye West and his marriage, all of a sudden everybody wants to say, oh, Kanye is toxic and he's a bad person, and he shouldn't be expressing himself like that and putting it out there like that. Well, what should he do? Hold it in until he gives himself cancer? Because with Will, all that holding it in, he's creating health problems, future health problems for himself that would otherwise would not be there. It wouldn't be there. And the tipping point, obviously, was last night Chris Rock and his tasteless joke. And you could call it what you want. Oh, it was just a joke. He should have laughed it off and this and that. I mean, nah. First of all, obviously, she's going through health issues, which is why her hair has been coming out and stuff. So obviously, that's a touchy subject. And Will knows, he deals with it. And people want to point out that, oh, he was laughing at it at first and this and that. Come on now. Everybody's been in a situation where, an uncomfortable situation where you mad as fuck and you kind of give that laugh, but you don't find a damn thing funny. Yeah, you laughing, but you a step away from somebody's ass right now. And last night was one of those moments. The Grammys is televised nationally, probably internationally also. You know, even though the ratings have been going down over the years, because don't nobody really give a damn about the Grammys, you know. But that was a nationally televised awards show. And from what I understand, I didn't actually watch the show. I've seen clips of it. Regina Hall, Wanda Sykes, and Amy Schumer, from what I understand, they had some little sidebar jokes too. You know, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not sure, but I'm sure that didn't help the situation. I'm sure no way, shape, form, or fashion did that help the situation. So it starts building up at that moment, and then you get Chris Rock up there with the G.I. Jane joke. And it's debatable. I don't know if they've ever been friends, they've ever been cool, whatever, this and that. You know, I don't know. You know, if they were any kind of friends, that's some disrespectful, distasteful ass shit. If they wasn't friends and they just knew of each other in passing, that's still some disrespectful, distasteful ass shit. Me personally, I'm glad Will finally got up, let his balls drop, and walked up to the stage and actually did something and slapped the shit out of Chris Rock. I'm glad he did that shit. Now, he might have regretted it, an afterthought, but he needed to do that. He needed to do that. He needed to do that on that stage in front of the whole world. And I don't give a fuck what stupid ass motherfuckers like Stephen A. punk ass got to say about it, or his bitch ass. You know, that's one nigga you can pay to say anything, so he gives a fuck what you got to say, Stephen A. Will Smith needed to do that in front of the whole world. He needed to do that shit. Because to all the men out there, let me tell you this. In life, your relationships, your marriage, it is not a good thing to hold in what's bothering you for long, extended periods of time. Because one day, I guarantee you, in some form or fashion, you will snap. You might not even know how you're gonna snap. I mean, we don't know. Will could have been feeling some kind of, he might have stole on Chris Rock, like broke that nigga's jaw. I mean, you don't know. You don't know what people are going through at any given point in time. And like I said, if Will Smith is any kind of friend, not Will Smith, if Chris Rock was any kind of real friend, you know, first of all, it would be even more messed up if Chris Rock knew about Jada's condition beforehand. Now, from what I understand, Jada's been open about it. She's talked about it, so it's been out there. So that doubles down and even makes it worse. If you ain't got no beef with Will Smith, or y'all not enemies, you know, or y'all kind of, that's supposed to be your friend or whatever, that means you knew about Jada's condition and you still said some slick shit like that. And then even in that moment, when you said it, everybody knew. First of all, that's blatant disrespect to Will, really. I mean, yeah, you making fun of his woman, but he's sitting right there. And then you pedal it back and say, oh, well, it's not that bad. It was just, just. So you softening it up because you saw Jada's facial expression, and you saw that she didn't like that shit at all. So you tried to smooth it over to her. Oh, I was just playing this and that. That's dog whistle for, you know what, fuck you, Will. I didn't mean nothing against Jada, but fuck you, you a bitch. That's how I took it. So that's why I'm glad Will got up, walked up there and slapped the shit out of that nigga. Then Will could go on an apologizing tour all he want. He can, I was wrong. I was wrong. I shouldn't have did that, and I should have controlled myself, and all kinds of shit. He could have said all that shit. But I guarantee you, when he's sitting at home with his family, or he's sitting, by himself somewhere, and he thinks about that moment, I guarantee you he's gonna have some semblance, some slither of a sigh of relief and satisfaction that he did that shit on the stage that he did it on in front of the whole world. Guarantee you that relieves some stress off him. But there's a lot of that that's going on in the world today, especially with men. And it's floating through the black community like a fucking cancer. Another thing from what I'm hearing, Chris Rock is known to be kind of asshole-ish in Hollywood. Like behind the scenes and like just smarmy at certain times and shit. So, once again, shouts out to Will Smith. Finally saying fuck it. Motherfuckers ain't gonna keep laughing and playing in my face and shit. Somebody gonna get this motherfucking Rick James treatment. What did the 5 hands say to the face? I'm glad he did that shit. I mean, what did the 5 fingers say to the face? But it's a lot of this bullshit in the black community and shit, motherfuckers. Thinking shit funny, thinking shit sweet. Wait for this train to go by. No, you don't know what somebody's going through at any given time and shit. And we have a bad habit of like men, we putting each other down and shit. There's an inferiority complex in the black community and shit. It's like you gotta, in order for you to feel good about yourself, you gotta talk down on another man. So if this man has a bad situation and he going through something, you feel good about yourself. You'll even go as far as to pile on and talk sideways about that man. Which does nothing but add to that man's stress and situations that he's going through. But you think it's funny because you think it's going to get you some cool points with somebody. And a lot of y'all dudes do this shit because you try to get pussy points to get you a bitch. That just means you ain't good enough to get a bitch without it. You don't know how to talk to women. You don't know how to get a woman. So in order to get close to one, you gotta try to use another dude as a stepping stool to make yourself look taller. You're still a midget, motherfucker. You're still a mental midget. Still a mental midget. And we gotta get out of that. Because we can't complain about what's going on in the world, like, oh, with a white man doing this, a white man doing that. No, it ain't the white man's fault, it's you niggas. Doing stupid shit, saying stupid shit. Can't wait to pile on a motherfucker when he going through something, when he down. And that includes you backhanded motherfucking backdoor coward niggas and shit. You think you in a better position than somebody and you want to come with the, hey, how you been? None of your motherfucking business how a nigga been. Niggas should rob you and shit right when you say that shit. See how you been, nigga. But that's the black community and shit. Just, you know, want to stick a needle in your womb and shit over and over and over. And then when a motherfucker react, you act surprised. Oh my God, how could he do that? Oh, on this stage, oh my goodness. The fuck you mean? What you think was gonna happen? Oh, but I get it. You throwing out those comedy coupons for women. You know, if she see I'm down in this nigga, maybe she'll give me some pussy. Because otherwise, I'm not good enough to just walk up to a woman and talk to her, get to know her and get it that way. I don't have the skills to put in the work to get it. So let me try to use this cheat code. This put a nigga down cheat code to get me some pussy. That's what a lot of you niggas do. Just keep this in mind. You're gonna do this to the wrong person one day. And on that day, you better pray that it's just a slap. If all the dudes out there that can still carry this and that, well, you're not the only one. They made more than one for a reason. And that day, you better hope when that guy decides to snap, that all he does to you is slap you. Because it can be a lot worse. Like all the stuff that Will been holding in all these months, these years, if all that was to pour out last night in that moment, because I think he held back, to tell you the truth. Because if it was to really boil up in a rage, like rage, he would have closed his fist and knocked Chris Rock out. I think he was having that tug of war in his mind. You know, remember on the cartoons, you had a little devil on one shoulder and the angel on the other, and they both talking in your ear, like, oh, about this and that. I think on his way up to that stage, they was talking in his ear, boom, 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 boom. And finally, the angel was like, I understand. Just don't beat him down, because that might end your career. But if you slap fire out of him, hey, I understand. Maybe even the angel might have told him that. And and the Little Devil cartoon probably was like, you know what? We finally agree on this one. Go ahead and slap fire out that nigga. Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section. Red Blizzard out. Take it how you want to take it. Fuck it.